In this video, I'll show you how to put together the small breadboard assembly, and we'll do a separate video for adding the wires. There'll be some soldering involved. That'll serve as our introduction to soldering. But in this video, it'll just be pretty much the physical construction to get this assembly all put together. So we're going to start with just the clear acrylic sheet that we have. It has paper backing on both sides, so you just have to, once you work a corner free, you'll see it just peels right off. Okay, so you want to peel that off of both sides, get that paper off, and you can see it's a clear acrylic. It's an 1/8 inch thick. It's the dimensions are 2 1/4 inches by 4 3/4 inches, which is just what we need. And then it's actually cast acrylic. That tends to machine a little better if we were going to machine anything. We're not going to drill holes in it, but the cast acrylic tends to work a little better as opposed to the extruded. It's a little more flaky. If you were going to drill holes in it, you want cast. It just tends to flake when you're machining it instead of get all gummed up. You know, you probably might have run into that if you had the extruded stuff. Gums up your drill bit and so on. Okay, so we have this sheet of acrylic, and first job is to get the AA battery holders, which are aluminum, and what we want to do is fasten them on each side here, right to the edge is what we want. You'll see how those you'll see why in a minute. So, and then to fasten the battery holders, we have this double-sided tape, so we're going to use that. And probably the easiest thing I found is you just flip this over, you get it started on there. You want to get it nice and straight, right? There you go. Cut it to length, right? And then peel the backing off of the other side. Okay. Now, one thing that's very important, make sure that you get the positive side oriented the same for both. So we want this, can you see the little, let's see if I can get the light to reflect over there. It says plus, and then there's no minus sign, it's just plus. So that's the positive side of the battery holder associated with this terminal. Make sure you keep that oriented up. And now when we place this, like I said, we want it right on the edge of the acrylic. So you need to line up the edge of your battery holder with the edge of the acrylic and center it, of course, and that will give us just the right spacing. Then press it down and go ahead and do the other one, right? Get that tape on there, right? And just cut it to length. Right? Peel the backing off. And same idea. You want it right on the edge, you know, right even with the edge and centered. And you kind of only get one shot at it. It's very sticky stuff, so be careful with that. Okay, then our small breadboard is going to go dead center. The breadboard has a double-sided tape already on it, so we just have to peel off the backing tape paper. Now here's a couple things. As far as orientation goes, make sure the red bus is up at the top. Don't put it on this way, this would be upside down. So there we go, red bus up. And notice the battery holders, positive and positive, they're both oriented the same way. And this is very sticky. We only get one shot at it. I did notice something. It's kind of an option. These little tabs we can cut off. We don't need them, so I'll nip those off. And you know, that's maybe something. Well, it's probably pretty important on this side because that's where we're going to lay our wires in. So let's get those tabs cut off. Was I off screen? Here, let me show you. See that little tab? I'm using a flush cutters. Notice these are flush cutters. That's important so that you don't have a little extra plastic laying on there. So they'll go right in against and cut that all the way flat. And we'll just nip it off like that. Okay. This side's important because we're going to be laying our wires down along there, and there would be less room for the wire. So now you do have a very sticky backing on this. You get one shot at this, so make sure you lay it in centered. And if you do that, you should have enough room on either side of the breadboard to lay some wires. Maybe a single wire will lay down in there. That's a nice way to manage our wires when we do that part of it. So make sure you see that you have the board itself centered, dead center, and you'll see that you have, you know, maybe a little bit of space then to lay a wire in on either side. So I'll show you that. Let's put it in. So really line it up, you know, carefully. Like I say, you only get one shot at this. Line it up and drop it in. Okay, then you can press it down. It's with some force. I should do it. Do you see the spacing I have in here? See, there's a little trough in there I can lay wire. That's intentional. Don't put this breadboard tight against this battery holder. You'll miss that feature. And on the other side, also, we have a nice little channel to lay a wire in, and that's intentional. So, and we got that because we have the battery holder flush with this edge of the acrylic sheet, and then we did the same over here, if you remember the sequence. Flush here, and then the key is carefully dropping this breadboard dead center so that you have the channel here and the channel here for wire. We have positive, positive. We have the red bus up. And I think pretty much have it. Then, of course, your batteries, well, the positive terminal will go right in there, facing up, and same with the other battery. And I think that's everything. I think we've completed the actual physical part of this small breadboard assembly. Then part 2 will be adding the wires to the small breadboard assembly. So, okay.